How do you stay on top of all the innovations, fast-paced movement and developments of social media, the algorithm changes, the content landscape changing? The reason why I'm really bullish on having a primary platform is you don't have to pay attention to 7 or 8 platforms and see what's evolving across the board, which will take a lot of time, energy, and effort. You only really need to focus your attention, energy, and effort into one, and then have your secondary platform as a backup. And I'm going to share with you the best way to stay on top of the innovations. It's the Wayne Gretzky analogy, I call it, going to where the puck's going rather than fighting for the puck with everyone else where the puck currently is. So this episode of the Content Marketing Podcast is about staying ahead of the curve when it comes to content marketing in the platform that has your target audience. And it was last week, maybe a week before that the CEO of YouTube published an open letter or an article that's available to the public. You can go check it out, and shared what the platform anticipates, what they're embracing moving forward. And this is where you can get in-depth inside knowledge into what type of content and what style of content is going to be effective on platforms. So you just need to find the CEO or the key people that publish about the platforms that you're on, whether that's LinkedIn, Meta, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and look for their developments and releases that talk about the platform. The other thing that you can do is follow influencers on any one of these platforms that share that sort of information. So they'll often get invited to behind the scenes conversations with developers of that platform, with key people, and get access to what that particular platform is focusing on into the future, and get first-hand knowledge, and more often than not pass that on to their followers and users so they can get the advantage. So you just got to find your source of information so you don't have to figure it all out on your own. You just go to that source and get the feedback and the data from them. So let's talk about YouTube, because regardless of what your primary platform is, I believe everyone should publish their video content on YouTube because of the 24/7 evergreen search engine nature of YouTube. If you have a high-ranking video that gets discovered in your niche, it can get found over and over again because of the search engine nature of YouTube, and Google's similar, obviously, but not exclusively to video. Whereas on a platform like Meta, your content has that very short lifespan in terms of its visibility in the newsfeed, and then the only way people can discover it is going back through your profile and doing legacy views, or unless someone re-engages it and bumps it back up into the newsfeed again. So what did the CEO of YouTube talk about in this open letter? And what's very interesting is they're choosing to embrace AI, which is fantastic because it does reduce the barriers to entry for creators. So as the technology evolves and people are able to utilize AI, it does enhance their ability to start creating content. And the other powerful aspect for that is shorts. So you can create sub 60-second clips with relative ease and start being a creator with these new innovations that are being prioritized on the platform. And the growth of shorts is phenomenal. I'm not going to try and quote what the statistic was because I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's a rapidly growing category, which isn't surprising. But what they're going to be introducing is what's called labeling. So if someone chooses to use synthetic content, which is AI generated, where the user may not be able to determine whether or not this is a realistic scene or a realistic event, or an AI generated event that's not real, that has to be disclosed in the future whenever that labels gets released mainstream when someone uploads a video. So that's going to have certain implications. Now, the way I understand it is content is going to get shown to the viewer that's the most appropriate fit, so they can increase their session time and show more advertising and increase revenue. So that regardless, so it's going to be very much directed at the end user. So if that content happens to be AI for that end user, then YouTube will happily put AI synthetic content in front of them. If that's human content and that's what's going to retain the attention of that end user on the platform, then that's the content that I'm sure that YouTube is going to put in front of them. And they find that out through the testing and measuring your own session time and habits on YouTube, because they want to create the best experience for you as a content consumer. Now, the next big development on YouTube is the amount of video being consumed on television sets. So people are starting to progress from handheld and smart devices to watching YouTube videos on their television and binge watching channels and creators, which is a great thing to know for you if you're willing to put in the time to create video content. And the longer people spend in binge sessions with your content, the more your videos will get recommended in searches to new viewers, which is how you grow the channel and how you increase subscribers and your watch time, which are all the ingredients that help build a channel. So if you're prepared to put some consistency into YouTube, and I think if I take a step back and go, if I was to start YouTube from scratch, what would be some of the ingredients for getting content out? First would be having a regular posting syntax. So there's a set frequency that I'd be committed to in the beginning. And now why would I want to do that? Because you can start to train your small audience in the beginning for when that content's going out. So you immediately get an uplift each time you post that Tuesday video or that Saturday morning video, and they can anticipate that's coming, which will help with the watch time and the retention once your audience gets conditioned for that release. And you can apply this to any platform, by the way. It's not just for YouTube. If you start to create a posting rhythm on your primary platform and you have content going out at set times, you can start training your audience for when it's coming. And if they enjoy your content, then you can get that spike in the beginning, which is what helps propel the reach and the performance through the particular feeds and searches. So this is really good to know. So we also need to understand that if they're going on television screens, some of these television screens are quite large. There's also quality implications to consider when you're editing videos and producing videos, and how that's going to show up on a many inch television set in someone's home. And according to the open letter, which again, I'll encourage you to go read that, just Google YouTube CEO letter 2024, something along those lines, and it'll come up. And people are actually watching shorts, so the sub 60-second clips that are in portrait selfie mode on their TV screens, and finding that's fine in a lot of cases. So it doesn't matter if you are starting off with that shorter form content, which is the easiest barrier to entry, because people are still choosing to consume that on their television sets, which is one of the biggest trends that are going on. And a mindset that I can't remember who to credit for this, they were talking about it almost having like a series mentality, a TV series mentality when you're creating video content. So it's like having that episode that drops each week or multiple times a week to get your viewers to hook in and binge watch your content. And I think that's a really good frame for the content creation. And what I was mentioning just a moment ago is if you can map out how you're going to deliver your content and when you're going to post it, and have continuity with that, it creates that predictability that can support sessions once you start to build an audience and it starts to grow, with having that massive spike which propels the performance of your content much sooner. So we'll step back a second, because I'm talking about YouTube, and the reason why I'm having the conversation around that is because I think everyone that does video should put their content on there. And to help you again with getting that content discovered early on, we've spoken about this many times, but you've got the vidIQ tool where you can enter in a keyword that's relevant to your niche. And if you go to the matching terms tab or the questions tab, it'll show you exactly what people are typing in and searching on YouTube. And then you can sort it by the number of views, so how many people are searching for that a month, and also by the competition to see how many people are creating content for that particular search. And if you see green next to the amount of competition, that's an opportunity for you to get discovered in that category without there being a high amount of competition. So this is how you get ideas for your videos and what the titles are going to be. And you want to address that title in your video in the opening sentence. So you're ticking boxes when people search that. the first thing they hear when they watch that video is that sentence, so they know it's related content, it's in the title, so it ticks all the boxes, and that'll really help your performance with YouTube content as opposed to winging it as you go. So I just wanted to mention that aspect. So now you just take this model that I'm sharing here and apply it to whatever the social media platform is that has your target audience. So you want to go, who's the source of sharing updates publicly about what the platform is preferencing and focusing on moving forward with the content. So that way you're prepared early. You're not late to the party and starting to adapt when everyone else has already done it. You're one of the early adapters of the way that the platform's moving into, so you can reap the rewards of that much faster. So find your source on whatever platform you're creating content for. Always look for updates. Maybe once a month would be a good time to circle back and see, is there any new information that I need to be aware of? So that way, anything that's going to help the performance of your content, you're going to be the one that gets their hand on that information and knowledge first, which gives you a massive edge over every other person in the marketplace. So find that source for your primary platform. And if YouTube isn't your primary platform, definitely look into it as your secondary platform, because there's just so much opportunity with search. I know from my perspective, getting legacy views, engagement, and even traffic back to our business from YouTube is really compounding now. And a lot of our videos I create don't get a lot of views, less than 100 views. And I'm okay with that, because it's, for me, it's about the right person finding the message at the right time. And if you're in a niche, sometimes there's going to be more depth than width. If you're in a category like entertainment, then the goal would be to go viral and to reach as many people as possible. But if there's a business aspect to what you're achieving and you're in a sector or a narrow field, then you don't need to worry as much about those views and those vanity metrics, because you're delivering depth to your audience. So there'll naturally be less eyeballs that are attracted to that content because it is narrower. However, the ones that do find it are likely to, if it's good content and it makes their lives better, spend more time engaged with it, consuming it, extracting value from it. So from a commercial or business standpoint, it can have a huge impact on your business. So platforms like YouTube are embracing AI. And like I said, I think they'll treat it to the end user. What content do they preference? Because they want to keep them on there so they can show the ads. So I think it's going to be a case by case, and those labels will come out where people do have to disclose whether it's synthetic AI content that people are seeing or not. So read into that and understand that development, see if there are any implications. But at the end of the day, if a content is good and it's entertaining, regardless of whether it's AI crafted or human crafted, that's the key, because then people will watch it, it'll retain their attention, and that's the goal for every single platform. So if you want access to the 30 days in 90 minutes content creation system, so you can start creating these videos for your primary platform, for YouTube, start doing some of the ideas that were mentioned in this show, head over to contentonly.au, download your free training, 37-minute training that covers that process and that model for you. And if this is your first time listening to the show and you're not following or subscribing, make sure that you do that so you can catch all the new episodes on demand.